Wait for people to come in. I'll be right back. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Hi, guys. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Can somebody give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, please? Is this working? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me, Dawn? Hi, Silly. Can you hear me? Okay, alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Jannah. So, alhamdulillah, if you guys could just bear with me. I might be a little slow as I talk, but we're good. This is really important, I think, to share our story. Alhamdulillah. So I pray everyone is doing good and is in good health and doing well. I'm doing good. I can breathe. Still hard to breathe, but not as hard to breathe. Definitely grateful to be here. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Monica. Okay, alhamdulillah, give me 1 second. There was a paper that I wanted to have, and I think it's on the other side of me. Alhamdulillah, Don, I feel good. I think people underestimate how people look with this virus. And although you see the people, the pictures of them in critical condition, everybody doesn't look like that. Alhamdulillah. Most people look absolutely normal. It's just the I guess it's just the hype, the fear that everybody has. But when it hits you, you know it hits you fast, and you can go from mild to severe very quickly. I did not get to critical. Alhamdulillah. So that's not a burden that I have. That Allah gave upon me. All right. Well, I don't see the paper. Oh, yes, I do. All right. So first, I was tested by MRI for COVID-19. I was tested by MRI for COVID-19. What are these dates? let's see here, Monday the 16th. I was tested with a test. Still haven't received that back. I saw the new Georgia numbers, and it said not Georgia, I'm sorry, my brain is fried. I saw the new Monroe County numbers where we live. I'm in New York, Monroe County. And I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything back. I'm not sure if they included me in that list with my MRI, but I haven't got my test result back. So, from that, and people who are getting tested, I'm sure all around the country, you guys are experiencing symptoms and getting tested, and they're telling you your results will come the next day or 2 to 3 days. I'm sure that's what usually happens, but that's not happening in this case. So I'm going to try to go as quick as possible through this. So first, March 7th. We had our first confirmed case here in Monroe County. They said the person came from Italy and came through way of New York City and came to Monroe County. No, Don, I do not do this kind of thing with the Facebook Live and all of this. I'm really just doing this for informational purposes. So when I exit my room, I wear my mask. No, I don't wear it in the room. I'm doing this because I'm on Facebook Live and I just like my privacy of my beautiful face, mashallah. So anyway, March 7th, we went to a tea party. And at the tea party, in the middle of it, my 4-year-old told me that she wanted to go. She was having fun one minute. The next minute she said, I want to go. Yes, Karima, assalamu alaikum. Yes. I told her why. We're having a good time, you know. It's just a little bit longer. I gave her a movie to watch. I told her not to be worried. You know, she never ever says she's sick. So she said her throat was sore, and I took her to the bathroom. She kept on going to the bathroom, using the bathroom. I'm not really sure if we got it there, but it was kind of an instant thing. She wasn't showing a sign of sickness, and just instantly she's like, I have a sore throat. I want to go home. I said, okay. So, so we did. When we got home, she still said she didn't feel good. She still said she was sick. So I told my husband I was taking her to urgent care. Urgent care tested her for flu and strep throat. We kind of made a joke in the office, like, oh, you think it's that stuff? He's like, we're not saying that name. I said, okay, you know, cool. And we kind of left it at that. I'm thinking, hey, we've only been to the community center in the city. So I'm thinking, for no reason, a person traveling from Italy is going to be at the community center, right? So, and I don't even know if that's where we got it. So a lot of people are saying that, a lot of studies are saying that it can remain dormant for 14 days, which is why we're all going on quarantine, right? So, welcome, salam rahmatullah. My husband just came in, alhamdulillah. So, where was I? Anywho, so she got sick that day. Babe, I'm on the thing. I know, I broke it. Sorry. have all these things. I printed out the handbook for you guys, the COVID-19 that I've been asking everybody to read. But then I thought about it. Babe, Art says hello.
Hey, Art.
He said hi, Art. But I guess that one about the timeline, I didn't mark that one, and it's going to take me too long to find it. But it's in here. But people can remain dormant for 14 days, which is why we're quarantining. So I don't know how long we had it. I don't know if we got sick right away. I don't know. I don't think we did. I think it had to be that day, March 7th, because nobody else, no, another girl who was at that party has the same symptoms that my kids have. So the kids had the symptoms of diarrhea, sore throat. What else did she say, babe? Her heart hurting. So the first time Lenny's got it, I mean, not Lenny's, Miriam. The first time Miriam got sick, maybe the next day, I ended up with the same symptoms, the same sore throat, the same diarrhea, the same upset stomach, headache. But I was good, just, you get stuff like that all the time, little bugs or something like that. It lasted about 4 days. After that, I had this sharp pain in my chest. I told my husband that it felt like something was wrong with my heart, like just stabbing constantly in my chest right here. And that lasted for about another 4 days. Then slowly I started to have this funny feeling in my chest. That was maybe last Thursday, last Friday. I thought with everything going on, maybe it was just a little like anxiety. Maybe my body needed to calm down from something. I wasn't sure. So it persisted. And I'm like, I'm calm. I'm not sure why I'm feeling this way. So it's definitely not anxiety. But I'm just, we trace back to our experiences. So that's what I was doing. I was tracing back to my experiences, trying to find a similarity of what was happening so that I could figure out how to help myself, medicinally. And by Sunday, I told Muhammad, I said, Muhammad, I think I have the virus. He's like, Cherriese, we're not even talking about that. And I'm like, no, Muhammad, I think I have the virus. I can't breathe. It's too hard. So I didn't want to, contaminate anyone. So I drove myself to the hospital. We went to Unity. At Unity, they immediately stopped me at the door. They asked me questions. They took me to the seat. I let them know right away, I believe I have the COVID-19 virus because these are my symptoms. They said, okay, went through the paperwork, did everything, brought me back immediately, put me in the back of the hospital and quarantined me immediately, got me out of the way. People came in with their protective gear and everything. The doctor did my vitals. He listened to me. When he listened to me, that's when he kind of got weird. And there was no mucus. I have asthma, but I was wheezing very little. But he could hear the restriction in my lungs. He instantly, it was the most surreal, awkward, uncomfortable feeling I've probably ever experienced. And he told me that they were going to test me. And he gave me the whole rundown, the procedures. He said that they wanted to first run a strep and a flu. So they did that. He said, if that came back negative, then they would definitely do the COVID-19 test on me. So So, everything, my panels came back clean, just like Miriam's did. And they did the COVID-19 test. Um, as of, what date was that? As of March 19th, my test results were still pending. I want to touch on that for a second because I think that's really important. So, the first doctor at Unity told me that I should have my test results next day. Monroe County told everybody that RGH, it's the hospital out here, Rochester General Hospital, was going to be doing in-house testing. And that my results were going to be sped up and I should have an answer by the next day. That never happened. He said by tomorrow afternoon, you should have an answer. But that never happened. Oh, my symptoms were diarrhea, sore throat, headache, no fever, respiratory pain. Oh, I forgot to highlight that part. In this book that I have been asking everybody to read, I thought about it. I said, well, if you haven't gone through this, you probably don't know why I'm telling you to read it. You're probably like, come on, Cherriese. This doesn't make sense. It's a lot of information in here. This is really for hospitals. But I wanted to go through it with you guys so you kind of, not all of it, because, you know, it's for what are we doing? Quarantining. It's for quarantine. I'm sorry. My brain has been so fried the last week. I'm seeing different colors. I'm misreading words. I don't know. I'm seeing silhouettes, white silhouettes around people. Well, that's a little bit better. I didn't see the white silhouettes today. I feel 1,000 times better than I did this week. Zaza, did I answer all of them? Sore throat, headache. The biggest part that brought me into the hospital was I couldn't breathe. So on that same day, I don't know what happened, but it just rapidly got worse for me on the 18th, on March 18th. And I couldn't breathe. My daughter received the virus a second time. She was experiencing diarrhea. She was experiencing shortness of breath. She was crying, telling me that her heart hurted. And in each of these situations, every day, we've been taking wild orange essential oils, frankincense, myrrh, cranberry for the vitamin C, cranberry pills. We've been taking vitamin D. We've been taking fish oil. We've been taking echinacea. And we've been trying to stay away from elderberry, which makes it worse. My medicinal inhaler makes it worse, the steroids. Anyway, let me focus on the story. So my daughter, she was having a really hard time. I called the Strong Pediatrics and they gave me a really hard time. I let them know that they tested me at Unity. So she understood that they must have believed I had it because they were only testing critical people that they believed had it. So it's not a test that everyone should get. It is a test that everyone should get, though. So at the moment, we can't get the test to everybody. So I'm sure people have called their doctors, even people who have been in contact with me. You've probably called your doctor. You probably asked them for a test, and they don't have them. I don't know when they're going to have them. Our president said that we could make a better test than what the World Health Organization was making, and we have yet to do that. So I had contact with someone who works at a major lab in San Diego. She said that they are also sending their test to North Carolina. So I was on the phone with the medical doctor, and I had to speak to the supervising doctor because the nurse was unable to assist me. We went back and forth a little bit. She said, well, you're supposed to go to the health department. I said, no, the health department said I'm supposed to come to the doctor now. And it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I really want you guys to listen to this recording of the seriousness. I couldn't get all of it. I was scrambling trying to find a way to record her. But I recorded a little bit of my conversation with the doctor. And this is important because they're telling us one thing, but we have to do another. Well, actually, no, I'll answer your questions first and then I'll play it. So Art asked about the results. No. So let me jump into this book. All right. So they tested me via MRI imaging. So if you guys can see here, for those of you that haven't gone to that site that I sent you to read, these are MRIs. They gave us a sample even. This book is like top to bottom informational. So my lungs looked more like 3. So I was more mild to kind of severe. Yeah, 3. That's what my lungs look like. So first they did the x-ray. They said they saw shadows in the x-ray on my lungs. And then after that, they wanted to do the MRI. So it looked strange, like little glossy patches. What it says in the book is COVID-19 at the early stage often presents with multifocal patchy shadows or ground glass opacities located in the lung periphery. I can't even say some of these words, I'm sorry. Subpleural area and both low lobes on the chest CAT scans. The long axis of the lesion is mostly parallel to the pleural interlobal septal thickening. Let me get to the point. The disease progression mostly occurs in the course of 7 to 10 days. So that would be right in line with my symptoms. So the chest pain didn't kick in until about a week after my initial diarrhea symptoms. With enlarged and increased density of the lesions compared with previous images. When it basically what it's saying is when it gets worse, that is when those glossy patches cover your whole lung, and that's when it's known to be white lung. That's where people are severe. You see people going to the hospital, getting on oxygen. That's what that is. So I'll show you a picture of that one. Oh, it kept freezing. Oh, okay, all right. I'll see if I can find a different way to send it to you, or maybe email it to you. My book is falling apart. It knocked you guys over. So that's a white lung. Totally covered. So there's nothing in there. That's total infection. And it's not like the flu. It's not like the flu at all. So I wish people would stop saying that. You know, it's the worst feeling on earth to be personally going through something, and for you to hear people like, oh, we still going out. Oh, it's like the flu. It's no big deal. Black people don't get it. If you're under 60, you'll be fine. New studies are showing that a lot of people under 60 are not making it. So maybe Americans' lifestyles, maybe, are not very healthy. The drinking, the liquor, maybe it's way different than China's. I have no clue. But it's not like the flu. I don't have congestion. I guess some people do. My son is coming down with symptoms. He's sneezing right now really bad. Constantly sneezing. Because he's been around me, I'm going to be cautious. And so I told him to quarantine. Like, I don't want your help disinfecting anymore. I don't want your help doing anything. Just stay in your room and rest. And he is on vitamins as well. I have to tell you guys, that this was really hard. I'm in page 55 of the book now. It talks about the organs that it attacks: your liver, your gallbladder, your pancreas, and your spleen. So doctors are supposed to do an ultrasound of these items to make sure that they're okay, they're healthy, they're functioning. Again, this is another thing that we're not doing, which is really unfortunate. I hope that a lot changes in the next week or so as people get more information. This book was just published, I believe on Wednesday. This book was just published on Wednesday. Chinese got it out extremely fast. Yes, I know there's conspiracies with this, but forget all of that right now. This is serious, and they gave us information that can help us, and we all have to work as one right now. We all have to work as a community. And that's something that I've seen that is like not existent with this. And that is really, really hurtful. And that is why I'm doing this video, because I've been through a lot. When I couldn't breathe the second time and I went to Strong on the 18th, wallahi, I thought I was gonna die. That means I swear by Allah. I swear by Allah that I thought I was gonna die. And man, for a second there, my faith was really low. Really low. That's hard for me to admit. Wow. I did not plan on getting emotional. But this is real, like when you're sick, and I have 4 children. My son will be 2 in April, all the way up to 14, who depend on me. So this was major for me. So while I was in the hospital, I was just struggling. I'm like, man, I just felt alone. I didn't have anybody to talk to or to console me or anything. And it's just scared. The procedures they were doing in the hospital, like the doctors that were coming in my room were covered, but because there's a shortage on masks, she didn't have a mask on, the woman who came to transport me to the x-ray and to get the MRI. She didn't have gloves on. I asked her, I said, do you know that they think I could have COVID-19? She said, yes, but they said this is okay. It wasn't okay. It wasn't okay. So before I switch, I said, so that's on page 55. I'm going to remove that tab. jump back to the front on why that's a huge concern. They say on page 7, this is how that you're supposed to cover. We had a person who was a hospital staff. He died recently. He died last Saturday of this virus. We have to take care of our healthcare staff. We have to care about them because those are the people that are going to help us with the situation. This does not mean, I'm not trying to scare anyone. This isn't to scare anyone. This is informational. So right now what we're doing is disinfection. I recommend, even if you are convinced, you're 1,000% sure there's no way I have COVID-19. There's no way I have COVID-19. That's fine. Maybe you don't. Probably don't. We'll stick with that. Let's stay positive. Maybe you don't have COVID-19. But while we're in our homes quarantining, I don't know about everybody else, but here in New York, we are on a emergency shutdown, emergency quarantine. We have curfew. I believe it's starting tomorrow. Our pharmacies, grocery stores, and hospitals will remain open, but pretty much everybody is going home to quarantine for 2 weeks and only coming out in emergencies. The name of the book, Zaza? Oh, where's my front page? Oh, it's not on here. It's on my page. It's on my page. If you go to my page, it'll look. I really like the editor's notes on here. Real quick, since I'm on it. He said, faced with an unknown virus, sharing and collaboration are the best remedy. The publication of this handbook is one of the best ways to mark the courage and wisdom of our healthcare workers have demonstrated over the past 2 months. Thanks to all those who have contributed to this handbook, sharing the invaluable experience with healthcare colleagues around the world while saving the lives of patients. Thanks to the support from the healthcare colleagues in China who have provided experience that inspires and motivates us. Thanks to Jack Ma Foundation for initiating this program, and to the Ali Health for the technical support making this handbook possible and the support to fight against this epidemic. This handbook is available for everyone for free. However, due to the limited time, there might be some errors and defects. Your feedback and advice are highly welcomed. And they talk about this being an unprecedented global war, and mankind is facing the same enemy, the novel coronavirus, and the first battlefield is the hospital, where our soldiers are the medical workers. And that's why this is so important about how our government is not helping our healthcare professionals stay covered and protected. Why shouldn't that be a number one priority? So that's not happening. But anyway, let's move on for time's sake. So this is where we're at right now. This is where my family is at. So I have COVID-19. My daughter's had it twice for sure. The baby's had it twice for sure. The symptoms repeating themselves. If you guys can hear me breathing, you hear there is no blocking my airways. There is nothing. You don't hear anything blocking my airways. The airway is not the problem. My lungs are the problem. So it's gasping for breath, but it's like an invisible enemy, because it doesn't feel like, because at this moment, I have moments where there's might be a brief of relief, and then I try to speak and it's like, oh, okay, yep, nope, we're still restricted. But this is probably the best. And you also have to expand your lungs for healing. You have to do breathing exercises to expand your lungs. That's been helping a lot. which I kind of was using common sense from having asthma, but it's in this book and it gives you more information on how to breathe with disinfection. So disinfecting the floors and walls. Pollutants. So what do you disinfect with? China recommends disinfecting with chlorine bleach. That's what they recommend. Cup of bleach per gallon of water. This is how they say to do it. And I suggest that you do this even if you don't have it. Make sure that the disinfection is conducted for at least 30 minutes. And you have to carry out your disinfection 3 times a day. So, first what you do is you get your bleach water and all of that together. And don't judge me, you guys. I have a bell. But I'm going to use the bell as an example. We got the bell to save my breath. I mean... so let's say that the bell is the targeted area, right? This is the infected area, or maybe the light switch in your house, or maybe the doorknob in your house, or maybe the refrigerator handle. So first what you want to do is wet your bleach, and you're going to wipe around it first. All of the surfaces around it that are not contaminated first, and then work your way into the contaminated area and get that last. And then you want to wash out your rag again in bleach water and do it all over again. We are either using a little bit of bleach on our dishes in our dishwater and then rinsing the dishes off afterwards, and or just putting them in the dishwasher. 90 degrees Celsius kills the infection according to this handbook. And Janique, you'll probably love this handbook because you're a nurse. I'm sorry, I'm telling you. Thank you, sister. Thank you, Jenna, for posting that in there. Appreciate that. So... fabrics. This is the next thing we're at. So we're washing our fabrics on hot water. Even if they're colored, we're just gonna have to mess up our clothes or whatever the case may be, because I'm sorry guys, I'm a little inefficient because I did not mark that down in here, but it's in the beginning of the first chapters, that part. So you guys can check it out. But fabrics, so we're doing our stuff on hot, and even for colored clothes we're putting a little bit of, yes, Ebony, great. And we're putting a little bit of bleach in the washer with it, whether it be colored or white. If I bleach the clothes, I'll worry about that later. I just want to take care of my family. Why do I say that? I say that because, let me get to it. I marked these. I say that because when you have this infection, it is eating away at your lungs. It's destroying your organs, those organs that were mentioned, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas. And you can heal from this virus. And I know many of you probably heard the reports. Oh, Clorox. Thanks, Ebony. I told you my brain is fried. I was not thinking about that. Thank you. You're right. Clorox for bleach. Thank you. For colors. Thanks. So you can re-catch this virus. So you can heal, you can be okay like my kids, and then because they're around me, recatch it again. So the second time, as I saw firsthand experience through my son, tell them, oh, thank you. My baby. Think. Where was I? So in the book, you'll find where they talk about how it's breaking down your your internal organs. And every time you get it, it's harder to fight it. So my daughter, the second time she got sick and she threw up blood. So the book just confirmed what I was seeing for myself, is that the second time she got sick, her body was not as strong this time to fight it off. But the kids, I know we hear the reports, people under 19 seem to bounce back or have mild to little symptoms. That's definitely the case with the kids. She bounced back really fast. My friend who was at the tea party with her daughter, who experienced a lot of the same symptoms as mine, she bounced back really fast. That's a ni'mah. That's a mercy. That's a blessing. And we should be grateful that our children are having mercy upon them. But the disinfecting 3 times a day is very important because this is highly contagious. It can last on surfaces for multiple days. Plastic is the worst, being 4 days. And that should be something that we should be concerned about, especially if you don't live alone and you live with other people. So, keep that in mind. So far we have wiped down everything twice with bleach. Do it again. The bathroom, especially if you share a bathroom, wipe it down, wipe it down, wipe it down. If you have one symptom during this crisis, I suggest you act as though you're positive. And if you can, just quarantine yourself, especially if you're in New York. You don't have any excuse. Just quarantine yourself. Or let your job know, hey, look, I have a symptom, or whatever the case may be, so that you can be safe. It's better to be safe than sorry. You can always do something later, right? But if you don't take the necessary precautions, then what? Like, whatever it is that you're doing that you don't want to disinfect, watching TV, on Facebook, whatever the case may be, playing with the kids, just take a minute and disinfect. It's not that hard. And it could save you or your children's lives. Another concern that I have is when I am done. So I have my prescriptions and everything that they gave me. I have all of my vitamins and my teas. No, I'm taking black seed. So the thing that I'm concerned about right now is I'm good. Like, if you guys are wondering about me, I'm fine. I'm in good spirits. I am talking to my family. I'm educating my kids. We're good. So Thursday morning, when I was in the hospital, Thursday morning. That was yesterday morning when I left the hospital. My faith was really weak. So I want to touch on this part because they have a section in here about stress, about mental health. So I really want to touch on that part because, man, did I experience that. So I had a brief moment where I just wanted to go. I said, you know what? I just want to go. I thought about, and this is embarrassing for me because I feel like I'm an extremely strong person. So I thought about suicide briefly, maybe a couple seconds. May Allah forgive me. And then I thought, you know what? Just take me. Like, if I'm going to go through being sick again, just take me. I've been through a lot of health issues, health complications. I said, you know, just take me. And it's not something that I'm proud of, but that's the type of pain you can experience if you don't take precautionary measures. Everybody should be taking vitamins right now. A lot of people don't believe in that, but in China, that's something that the doctors do. They have to have a nutrient-based diet. They have to eat healthy. Yes, Jenna, inshallah. They have to eat healthy to boost up their immune. So we're eating a lot of foods that have garlic, ginger, turmeric, using basil, rosemary, lots of herbs, definitely the garlic and onion. They're such purifying and they boost your immune system. So lots and lots of herbs. We're doing teas and stuff like that. Definitely having a nutrient enriched diet, I believe that saved my life. To be quite simple, this medicine, no. I got a little bit of help breathing at first. That helped. They released me and gave me what I needed, gave me a nebulizer and stuff like that in case the asthma act up. So that's a big thing. Please stack up on vitamins. Everybody's getting all of this junk. That's not even mandatory right now. Hi, cousin. I love you. This is my cousin just joined the group. He's the one that gave us this book, which has helped me with so much understanding on what is going on with my body. But as I was saying, mental illness. So they have a whole section on psychological crisis, intervention and treatment based on the assessment. It says, patient's mental states, individual psychological stress, mood, sleep quality, and pressure should be monitored every week after admission. Oh, and in China, they don't send their people to come home. They don't send their people to come home when they test positive. They stay in the hospital. So that's why China built that hospital in 10 days. That was so that they could contain the people, which is something I had no clue. I thought maybe China was sending people home to quarantine as well, but they weren't. Which is why they have this really in-depth guide to not spread it anywhere. Because it's extremely, extremely, extremely contagious. So, but they have help for that. For a mild patient, psychological intervention is suggested. Psychological self-adjustment includes breathing, relaxation training, mindfulness training, moderate to severe patients. Intervention and treatment by combining medication and psychotherapy are suggested. I'm in the severe section. Not anymore, but that's where I was. Moderate to severe in there. And I definitely could have used some intervention treatment. So if anybody that can do anything about it sees this, people testing positive, we're going to be going through this for a while. Can you get us some mental health services? Because that could help. So that's something to be mindful. If you know somebody that is experiencing this, be kind, because people need that. It hits so fast. It's not like you guys are panicking right now. You guys shouldn't panic at all. You guys shouldn't panic at all. You guys should disinfect, do your houses 3 times a day. Once you're locked in and nobody's coming out, nobody shows the symptoms, great. But you have to be proactive. You have to do something. This talks about how to breathe. So as people are healing, if you're someone who's already been infected and you're healing, you have to do breathing management. I'm saying these things to you guys because the doctors won't. I'm praying with this new information that they do in the next couple of days. But I don't know. I don't know. So, but just so you know, the first one is position management. So making sure that you're sitting, you're elevated, you're sitting up, the respiratory exercise, deep, slow breaths to increase the expansion of the lungs. The exercises can fully expand the lungs. So my lungs still feel like they're closed. And I'm constantly doing these exercises. They're helping. And you should practice that for 12 to 15 times a minute. Take that one off. Isolation. So this is the thing that really has me here. This is the thing that this probably irritates my soul the most. And this is probably the biggest reason on why I decided to step out of my comfort zone and do a Facebook Live to talk to you guys and tell you about it. So they talk about the medication after discharge. Showed you guys my medicine. So they say generally antiviral drugs are not necessary after discharge. So in other places that are successful, like China, who are reducing their numbers and not increasing. So everybody's like super impressed with China. Oh, China's what? We're good. We're good. People are really scared right now with Iran and Italy. Wait, what? Why does those numbers not look like China? Those numbers don't look like China because China built a hospital for all their positive patients. They did not release them. They kept them there. They gave them the nutrient-enriched food that they needed. They gave them the vitamin injections, the boost, the antibiotics, whatever treatments they need. In this book, you will find all kind of information on resuscitation, on procedures, surgical procedures to open up the lungs, the airways. You'll find so much information in here, stuff that I didn't even need. So, but there is, if we can come together as a people, there is tools that we can use to save more people's lives. So the thing is not to be scared. We have to be aware and knowledgeable. The more knowledge you have, knowledge is power, right? No, it sounds corny, but it's the truth. So the more information and the more knowledgeable you are, the better that you can protect yourself and the better that you can find a solution, right? So, and I also suggest everybody get colloidal silver. I always keep it in my house. I don't really use it unless it's something really severe. And right, Dawn, right. But you know what? Why reinvent the wheel? You know what I'm saying? Like, we should be able to do this right here, not reinvent the wheel, just duplicate what they're doing. And even China is saying, hey, there may be more information. It's on my page, Don. It's COVID-19 handbook on my page. Being diagnosed by MRI. Oh yeah, that's in the video already. I already talked about it. I removed that sticker from that page. Let me see if I can find that picture. Hold on real quick. I want to talk about nutrition support because as you asked me that, sister, this popped in my page, so maybe Allah wanted you to make me look so I could talk about this because it stops here. So nutrition support. The severe and critically ill COVID-19 patients who are in a state of severe stress are at a high nutritional risk. Early evaluations of nutrition risk, gastrointestinal functions, and aspiration risk, and timely internal nutritional support are important to the patient's prognosis. Oral feeding is preferred. The early intestinal nutrition can provide nutritional support, nourish intestines, improve intestinal mucosal barrier and intestinal immunity, and maintain intestinal microbiology. 2. Enteral nutrition pathways. Severe and critically ill patients often harbor acute gastrointestinal damages, manifested as abdominal distension, diarrhea, and gastroparesis. For patients with tracheal intubation, intestinal nutrition tube indwelling is recommended for post-pyloric feeding. 3. Selection of nutrition solution. Well, you guys get the idea. Nutrition. They also have one down here that says means of nutritional supply. Pump infusion of nutrients can be used at a uniform speed, starting with low dosage and gradual increasing when possible. The nutrients can be heated before feeding to reduce intolerance. Alrighty. So again, those vitamins are vital. I think those vitamins, they help me out a lot. I'm still looking for that page. But when I'm done here, because I'm almost done, you'll find it in the video. I'll post it for you so you can come back and skip through it and find whatever you need to find. Because I'm over here, like, as I'm done checking them off, I'm taking all the stickers off on what I had so that I don't have to flip through all 68 pages. You can get colloidal silver from your health food store, Walgreens, CVS. Amazon is really backed up, but that's where you can get colloidal silver from. Does anyone want to hear about the deceased, what they do with the deceased, or should I just skip that? Okay. I already did that one. We won't touch on that one. Imaging. Actually, here you go, sister. Boom. Uh-oh. Sorry. So in China, when they were not able to rapidly test, you'll see that they had different, you'll find that they had different methods. So they didn't always have the test. And so they were doing x-rays. So you have 6 different type of x-rays of the level of where it is. So as I told everybody earlier, I was a 3. So I was more of a, how do they label it here? So I had the patchy nodules. So that happens after a week of having it. So alhamdulillah, I did not get to the white lung. The white lung is when people are having severe, critical pain. So that's what mine looked like. And being asthmatic and autoimmune deficient, that wasn't going very well. But again, I am autoimmune deficient. And even I have been able to fight. My body's been able to fight with this. So there's definitely hope, you know, like that should not be a concern. Deceased. So Don said, yes, tell us, do it. So for the deceased, medical waste shall be disposed as COVID-19 related medical waste. So reusable medical devices shall be disinfected according to the disinfection procedures. Oh, I forgot something. When you guys are cleaning with your bleach, after 30 minutes of disinfection, wipe it down with water. Just go back over it with water or whatever you like to clean with. But reusable medical devices, okay, already said that one. Medical fabric shall be disinfected and disposed of according to the disinfection procedures. Alrighty. The staff must make sure they are fully protected by wearing work clothes, disposable shirts, surgical caps, disposable gloves, and thick rubber gloves with long sleeves. Medical disposable protective clothing, medical protective mask, the N95 mask, or powered air purifying respirators. My kids are going to keep on knocking on the door. Come in.
Do you want more tea?
No, thank you. Close my door.
Okay, your son's being stubborn, like very stubborn.
Sharik, get in your room. You shouldn't be out. Lenise, get the bleach water and wipe everything down, please. Lenise? Please, go over all the handles. Particle of feet. I know, right? Kids. Anywho. All right. Or, so if they don't have the N95 mask, powered air purifying respirators, protective face shields, work shoes, rubber shoes, boots. The corpse care. Fill all openings or wounds the patient may have, such as a mouth, nose, ear, anus, a trach opening, by using cotton balls or gauze dipped in 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams of chlorine containing disinfectant. Then they wrap the corpse with a double layer cloth sheet, soak it with disinfectant, and pack it into a double layer sealed, leak-proof corpse wrapping sheet soaked with chlorine containing disinfectant. Then the body should be transferred by the staff in the isolation ward of the hospital via the contaminated area of the special elevator out of the ward, and then directly transported to a specified location for cremation by a special vehicle as soon as possible. Final disinfection. Perform final disinfection of the ward and the elevator. And then they have to burn and cremate the body. It's the only way to kill the bacteria is to burn it. Or to soak, 30 minutes. Disinfecting takes 30 minutes. So everybody thinks, oh, boom, I just hit this surface and I'm good. That's not necessarily true. Oh, you're morbid. Everybody left for that. They said, oh, that's too much. Yes, it's in the air. Yes, Don, it's in the air. That's what makes it so dangerous. That's why, we have not a lot of cases in the U.S., supposedly. But there's no test, okay? That was Monday, and there's no test. Not all hospitals want to do an x-ray or MRI because they don't want you contaminating their facility. That's what the first hospital told me. Yes, that hurt, but what? And it's necessary. All Chinese people wore the N95 mask. I believe I'm saying that right. Everybody wore it. So they're still having to wear it. So my cousin let me know they're not really sure about what the ramifications are going to look like, about people getting reinfected. People are not sure about what that is going to look like. So if people think that this is hard, like, I have to get out the house, I have to get out the house. This is a national emergency. Getting out the house is not that serious. What if you're never able to get out the house again? Or your mother, or your grandmother, or your child, or your spouse, you know? So leaving somewhere, you know what, Don? That's another issue we have in America. I don't know how you know that you're not contagious anymore. In China, people don't even drive to the hospital to get checked out. They have an app. People have to download the app. They do an internet appointment. They open Alipay, the Chinese version. They choose the hospital. They post their question, wait for the doctor to respond. A notification will pop up when the doctor replies. And then to join, they join this platform, and then they can do all of their testing right there. So how China was doing it is, if we need an app. If the so how China was doing it is, if the person met the specified criteria, if they had any, and it wasn't, I don't know why people are doing this. This is wrong. We're hurting people like this. Is if you have any of the symptoms, like the diarrhea, the sore throat, if you have chest complications or pain, that's enough for them to bring you in. You don't have to have every single symptom. Everybody doesn't have every single symptom. That's a myth. That's not true. A lot of people don't have fevers, especially in children. Children have more of the runs, and 20% of people had the runs. So the doctor in America told me that's not enough to consider people, but it should be. It should be. So this isn't even to scare you guys. This is to bring awareness so that you can be in control of your life, your body, your family. This is to give you power, to give you control, to give you strength. All of us are at the mercy of the Lord. I believe that this is, Allah says, when you are disobedient, I will plague the earth. And he's definitely plagued the earth, whether it have been man-made, as some people say, or God let all of it happen. So that's where we're at. And and you know what? That's not something to be scared of. We are scared of what we don't understand. But when we understand it and we know what to do, then the fear drops dramatically. So I'm hoping that's what this does for people. I'm hoping that it reduces their fear and that this is able to answer some questions. So in their app, if they do want you to come in, the Chinese will, my kids, come in.
It's your kid.
Why are you not in your room?
I asked her if she can give me some oranges. It just I have to ask.
Lenny's, get the child some oranges. Sheree, go to your room.
Abby just bought like a huge case now.
So, if he bought a huge case of oranges, go get the boy a couple. Come on, man. SubhanAllah.
Okay. I'm closing the door. No.
I think somebody told them I was Facebook living, and so that's why they're bothering me, because I didn't say anything, but somebody said something. I'm pretty sure. So, but they'll send you straight to the hospital from the app. So the app will be able how DoorDash tracks people or Instacart tracks people, and you can see them delivering your groceries or your food. Their app works the same way. So if they deem you over the app during your doctor visit, that you're credible to come in, then they will track you from your phone app. They'll tell you how to get in the car, who to get in the car with if you're driving yourself. They'll tell you where to park, where to be. They have the people meet you. They take you in and they take your temperature. They do your vitals, everything. They take you into a quarantine room immediately. It's very efficient so that there is no skips to be able to pass the virus on to anyone else. Yeah, DoorDash is COVID handy only if they do it properly. So right now, people are worried about money. Everybody is worried about money. So people don't want to stay home, which is a huge, huge concern. So in China, they did deliveries to people's doors. So they were quarantined for 2 weeks. People misunderstand this. Healthy people were quarantined in their homes for 2 weeks. Those were healthy people. People were not sent home from the hospital positive to quarantine. That's not what happened. So us here in America, we're being sent home from the hospital to quarantine. It's so iffy. It's so easy to contaminate it to your family, to the walls. That's why China built that hospital in 10 days and quarantined the people in there. That's why they had to build a system to be efficient, to keep the numbers down, and to save lives. And they did it. They did it. So there's no doubt. We know what it looks like when they don't. That's what Italy is. And if we do not demand our representatives take action and protect us, like Donald Trump said we could make better tests than the WHO, than the World Health Organization. Okay, well, we haven't yet. All of our tests are going to 1 or 2 labs in the country. Celebrities with money are getting their tests before people who have families, the people on the ground, boots on the ground, how us little people, it's like, what about us? You guys can seclude yourself in mansions and whatever. All of us have to go. Like, my daughter got sick at the community center. So that's just not going to be effective. That's not going to help us get through this epidemic if we do not demand our government representatives, our officials, our local representatives to stand up for us, to speak to us. Maybe you've never spoken to a representative in your life, right? That's fine. Find your local representatives, look them up, just do their email. We don't want to leave the house, the paper, all is extra. Just do a simple email. That link that I have on my page for the handbook, that's in there. Copy that. Send that to your representative. Hey, can we copy this? Just a simple email. It doesn't have to be long. I'm scared. I'm concerned about my fellow citizen. This is what China did. We're not doing it. Can you get this out there? Can we do this? Because maybe then we can be able to take charge of our lives and save our people, save our loved ones, save our fellow Americans. So I did want to share that because I thought that was a really, really, really important. So I wanted to touch on me. So I was in between the severe case. So respiratory rate, 30 breaths a minute, oxygen saturation 93. This is how I came into the hospital the last time. Lesions progression within 24 to 48 hours. We don't know if there's lesion progressions because they're not going to re-MRI me. They didn't, they don't want me to come back to the hospital. So since they released me from the hospital, I'm not getting all the treatment that I need because we're not even able to see if those pictures they took in my chest, if they're expanding and getting worse, if, it's turning into the white. It doesn't feel that way though. Or if they're reducing, which is that what we want them to do, which I can breathe a lot better. So, I'm going to assume it's working. But people are supposed to be getting imaging done. And then back to Don's question. Oh, subhanAllah, that's a horrible idea, sis. I'm sorry. That's a horrible idea. The masjids having Jummah, they should follow the rule of the ulama and they should just stop. SubhanAllah, that's dangerous. They should just stop. the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never, they didn't experience a plague in his time that I've ever heard of. If they have, please correct me, drop the evidence, and we can go from there. Sorry, I got a little excited on that one. No, I don't understand why they're doing it. They're putting people in danger. And then the carpet, like, what are you going to do? Bleach the masjid carpet after people leave to keep it safe so nobody else gets sick? Is that what you're going to do? Of course not. So just leave people at home, because you can't properly disinfect the masjid. And it's just a bad idea, subhanAllah. If we were in China, I bet you their masjids was shut down. I bet you nobody was doing Jumu'ah. It wasn't an option. My cousin has a dojo in China. My cousin has a dojo in China. And you guys aren't going to like what I'm about to say. But his dojo was shut down January, I think he said the 17th, I believe. All of his friends, they went to where they needed to go. They knew that the quarantine, staying in your home, was going to be mandated soon. My cousin said he hadn't left his house from January 31st is when he was locked in alone. Yes, it's lonely. He was lonely. He said he got a little agitated after 2 weeks, and it was kind of hard, but you got to fight through it. But healthy people were quarantined for 2 weeks. All the people. So my cousin was in Shanghai. There was nothing open. So all of this optional stuff, there were no options. The Chinese had certain people that they had implemented to deliver food. So, and even in that, how my cousin described to me how he broke it down, he said that the people had to be tested. So the people had to be tested before and after work to make sure they were not positive. The people also had their temperatures taken. Basic precautions, had to wear face masks, gloves, constantly taking them off, cleaning. They had to go through the procedures. And they had food dropped to their doorstep. So however many people were in there, they did it all electronical to communicate to the people, to communicate to the driver, and got everybody their food. It was very efficient the way my cousin described it to me. They had to come in hazardous bags. When the person arrived to your home, that was taken out of that bag, left on your doorstep in another sealed bag, so that you were not stricken by contamination and that you're safe. So that is how they got those numbers down. And every single person who thought they were positive while they were in quarantine for that 14 days, every single person got a test. Every single person got a test. I'm going to say that one more time. Every single person who thought they were positive got a test. It wasn't like this. It wasn't a backlog and you take a test on Monday. And what is today? Today's Friday, right? Still nothing. It wasn't to where, it wasn't like that. It wasn't where doctors weren't wanting you to go to the hospital so that you can get imaging, where doctors only wanted sick people who were dying to go to the hospital. Or like me, asthmatic, and it's severe. So, I wasn't critical yet, but for other people that aren't asthmatic, they're not going to see severe. They're going to see critical. But when it comes to critical, that's concerning because I'm not sure they're aware. Their information doesn't match this book, what I've given. So in the next week, I think we should see hopefully some changes as the knowledge increases. I mean, this book is only 2 days old. So hopefully as the knowledge increases, they're able to do that. For everybody who has just came in towards the end, I went through this handbook. You guys can check the video out when we're done. I'm going to save it to my page. This is the procedures, practices, symptoms, and treatments for COVID-19. China University put this together for the world. And they did it quite fast, I might say. They admit that everything is not perfect, but this is what they have. And they're willing to take advice to be able to tweak this, but they made this to help save humanity, to help slow down what's going on. So I know certain executive leaders are acting like China is our killer, like they took some type of war out on us or something. No, their people were affected just like our people were affected. They saw people dying. They didn't understand it. They built a hospital in 10 days. Every single person who thought they had a symptom, don't even matter if it was true, got a test. Everybody, nobody was denied a test. Everybody who was positive went straight to that hospital they built and was quarantined, taken care of, pumped vitamins and mineral and nutritional foods into their bodies to heal. And even with my experience, if it wasn't for the natural stuff I was doing as well, the vitamin D, the vitamin C, the colloidal silver, the garlic, I'm putting all of these herbs in my food, or my daughter is, should I say. It helped. I promise you, it saved my life. Mashallah, tabarakallah. I'm very grateful. I always turn to herbs. And so I believe in natural healing. I was really sick at a point in my life, so where I thought I was going to lose it. I denied certain treatments from the doctors, and by the mercy of my Lord, I was able to come back and stronger than before. Thought I couldn't have children. Like, all of these things were corrected naturally. So, of course, COVID-19, I was like, I'm not scared. I got this. But even with my herbal remedies, it was kicking my butt because I didn't quite know what to do. I know a lot more now, which is helpful. But not knowing is the hardest part, guys. So, again, I suggest you get the book. You check it out. Clinical criteria. I already went over that one with you guys. Therapy. If you are super severe, if we can get our public officials to do so, they have oxygen therapy. There's a lot of different kind of therapies, guys. My book is falling apart. I didn't do a very good job. But there is a lot of therapies. On page 26, if you want to look at therapies, that's where it starts. And, I know some of you guys still aren't believing that COVID-19 is real. It's real. You watch the rest of this video later. But again, you guys, I can't stress enough. I think I'm at all of these papers. Oh, tissues. In China, this is something I haven't been doing, but I'm going to start doing it now. I haven't really used tissues. I typically flush them down the toilet, but I'm not sure if that's bad or, if I'm spreading bacteria that way. I'm not really sure because China says to put your materials to have like bleach water and put all of your tissues and stuff like that in bleach water and let it sit until you're disposing of it. So if you have to put your tissues in bleach water to stop the spread of contamination, I definitely would tell people that I'm standing in line with at the store, can you please back up and give me 3 or 4 feet? We're in a crisis. Don't have to be nasty about it. Oh, this is just kind of an outline of their app, how they got checked in, how they did it. That's on page 57. So you'll find a lot of different information online. Some of it's true, some of it's not. Some of it was information when they first caught it, and they didn't know. But now they did these studies based off of 2,000 people. And then they also did additional studies based off of their deaths. They did studies based off of blood types. They have a lot of information, guys. I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions? For those who are just turning in, like I explained to everybody, you'll hear that my airways sound clear. And that's going to be common amongst people. Looking normal, speaking normal, maybe not breathing normal or feeling normal. But if someone's telling you they're having symptoms, be compassionate and believe them. Be patient, be kind. That will go so far. You guys think that you're scared because there's a virus? People who receive the virus is scared. People who wake up one morning and can't breathe, they're scared. People who have children, like I do, and I had to fight with the doctors and still couldn't get my heart baby tested. It's scary. If you can prevent this happening to somebody else because you did one thing, like you stayed in your house, or you knew how to cover your face or your hands or wash. And guys, hand sanitizer should only be used in cases of emergency. I'm not quite sure why people are so crazy and buying out all the hand sanitizer. Do you not wash your hands? That's not good. That's not good, guys. The hand sanitizer should be for emergency purposes only. So if you see over here, this is like my little bed stash. So I got everything I need right here. I got my On Guard. I got my myrrh. I think the kids got my other ones. I got my bitters. I ran out of colloidal silver, but the bitters are holding me up at the moment. I have to take probiotics because I have the diarrhea. No, I'm not pregnant, but I have bad reactions to probiotics, so I like this one because it's a little more sensitive. I have my Tylenol because you're only supposed to take Tylenol. The ibuprofen can agitate it, so I have my Tylenol over here. I don't know if it's just me or maybe I like pain, but I haven't really been taking the Tylenol, only in severe cases when I'm going to sleep, because I really want to be aware of my breathing, how I'm feeling. I don't want anything to block that, but that's just me. And I've been dealing with this for a week now. So, and it has gotten a lot better. It has gotten a lot better, guys. I have my antibiotics here. I'm not even sure about the antibiotics, to be quite honest. The book talks about it a little bit. But these aren't the antibiotics they were giving people in China. But hopefully, again, if we reach out to our public officials, send them this book that's in my link on my page. So if you're watching this video, you have access to the link on my page. It should only be, actually, I'll repost it for you right after this video. I'll post it in the comments. Write your local representatives. Just Google it. We Google everything else, right? Just Google it. Google your local representative. Go Google your governor. Send them this. Say, hey, I'm concerned. This is what China did. Let's follow their example so we could save lives. If enough of us do that and pass that message, I think we might have a chance. But us Americans are so independent. We're stubborn. We like what we like. We do what we want. We say what we want. Freedom of speech, you know. Man, I hope this shows us more empathy. I hope this shows us more compassion. I hope this shows us more love. I hope this brings unity. We've had so much dysfunction, people fighting each other, even political stuff. It's just crazy. Like, I really hope this brings us together, because at no point, um, I don't care what it is. You know, I don't care if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, if you're Christian, if you are a Republican or a Democrat or independent, or you don't like black people, or you don't like white people, or you don't like Hispanics. I don't care what your issue is. I don't care what your issue is. I didn't like bananas growing up, but I love bananas now, you know? Um, Things happen for a reason, and this can definitely bring us together. Nobody is better than anybody. This virus doesn't have a price tag on it. It's not for the rich. It's not for the poor. It's not for the black. It's not for the white. It's for any and everybody who can catch it. And it is highly, 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 highly. Can I say that again? Whew, hold on. Highly contagious. Highly contagious. I read to you guys what the Chinese are doing to disinfect and the precautions they're taking, how they're getting people to the hospital, how they're checking them in. I told you about how they're screening people through an app. This is so serious, you know, highly contagious. But instead we're going out, we're doing whatever we want. We're saying it's a conspiracy theory. We're putting more people at risk. In my situation, my daughter caught it first. Wash those little people's hands. You know, wash them. They get mad, you're frustrated. Who cares? If you can't wash the little people's hands when you're out, don't take them out, because that's just where we're at right now. Leave those kids in the house. I want to take my 2 younger kids to the hospital and have them an MRI, especially my heart baby, but I'm scared. I don't want to make their situation worse than it is, and they look like they're healing a lot faster than me. And so I'm just keeping them away from me. So I haven't held my baby in 2 days. But I'm just keeping them away from me. Because at first I said, you know, my daughter has it, so I have it, so she can be with me. But no, she healed faster than me. She healed amazingly fast. Mashallah, tabarakallah. She is 4. But she had it bad for a little bit. But when we gave her some vitamins, we gave her the colloidal silver, I gave her the frankincense, I gave her the myrrh. Those are my go-to. And she woke up feeling a lot better. She just bounced back like she did the first time. I asked her if her throat was sore. The night before, it was tender to the touch. The next day, I was like, well, I'll take you to the doctor this morning. And she said, I'm not sick anymore. 4-year-olds, they're so honest. She doesn't lie. She doesn't lie about anything. You know, they're so honest. She's amazing. What I wanted to share with you guys before I go is this voice recording. So I have a heart baby, and he's doing fine. So there's no worries. He's doing amazing. He's happy. All the kids are smiling. All the kids are laughing. I'm laughing too. You know, my kids are hilarious. So we're enjoying each other still. We're not scared. Like I said, Chinese talk about how people's mental states will be affected. I know where I'm at. Miss Melanie Funches, if you guys check her out, she's posting mental health things. calming things. She's given information to people to help with that anxiety. It helps. Even I have my therapist, he said, look up at the ceiling. Take your mind off of it. Just focus and relax. Look up at the ceiling. Look up at the floor, or look down at the floor. Look at the walls. Focus on the door. What's on the door? The colors. To take your mind off of it. A little bit of like, mind games. Like, trick your mind. Take your mind off of it. Breathe. Picture yourself somewhere at the ocean. Don't go to the ocean. Just picture yourself at the ocean, right? But yes, let me let you play this for you, because this is one of the doctors at Strong Pediatrics trying to beg her to get my son tested when he was having extreme symptoms. So thank goodness that God is having mercy on these kids, because if it was not for that, I don't know where I would be. Because if something happened to my kids and they went through what I went through, no, I'd rather go through it for them. I'd rather it that happened like this, that I was the first one in my family to have, severe symptoms. And I hope that my family's symptoms stay dormant and stay minimal, but the kids seem better. So here's this message. We were going back and forth about the health department. She said the health department will test you. I said nope. The health department said you'll test them, that you have to go to their physician. I think most places around the country are being told that. Most physicians don't have the test. If they do, think they're testing in the emergency rooms, which is a flu test. I heard that they are running out of flu tests. So again, write your representative, tell them we need help. But she told me that my son had to have his lungs caving in, breathing in really hard to where you could see it suctioned under his ribs, for me to bring them into the emergency room to be admitted so he could be tested. And yeah, you have to be admitted, at least out here in Monroe County. I don't know how anyone else is doing it. So I told her, well, I'll just go in. Because she said, we can always test your kids for strep and flu. And I said, okay, I'll take them in. And she's like, well, no, don't do that. It might not be a good idea. So it's just really iffy. I think it's hard for them too, but they're getting misinformation because our public leaders, our public officials don't have the correct information. So again, share that book. My friend Jinnah Mustafa, she put the link in the comments. Write your public officials. Here is the message from the doctor.
We all do read all of the updates. We're getting updated twice a day by our CEO, as well as reading.
Uh-oh, what'd I do? Why is it pausing on me?
And we all do read all of the updates. We're getting updated
Can
twice
y'all
a
hear?
day by our CEO, as well as reading the research ourselves. And unfortunately, right now, the testing is just not widely available. And so we have to prioritize patients who have a confirmed direct contact, as well as those who are meeting admission criteria. So those as a
Ma'am, the first teacher at Greece Arcadia that came up positive had no contact with the person that was on the bus that came from. Absolutely no known contact. So what are you talking about? It got to Rochester and spread without people having contact with people who had confirmed cases. So why is that even a reason? It's being spread through these kids. So
I understand what you're saying. It is out of my control to change the policies in place.
So you called the health department. So you did not know that you guys are supposed to be the ones that are referring people for the test? You thought that it was the health department?
Yes, that changed this morning.
Okay, well, it shouldn't have changed this morning because that's what they've been telling me for the last 2 days.
Well, yesterday, the health department was the one determining who was tested.
No, that's not true. Because I've been calling them. So when will you guys get more tests? Does anyone have a clue with that?
We are hoping that our facility will be able to test for coronavirus on Friday. Until we are testing, that Friday is when we will be more liberal with testing. But I can't 100% guarantee that, but that's the plan. Right now we're sending all tests out to facilities across the country, and that's why it's limited, because those facilities don't have enough supplies to run more than X amount of tests.
I'm going to pause that for a second because they're not being sent to facilities all over the United States. They're being sent, most of them, to North Carolina. And that is why there is a weeks backlog. So when I was in the hospital Thursday, they said I might not see those results for another 2 to 3 weeks, which is why they did the MRI testing for people who do not understand MRI positive testing. Doctor, they told me he was sending my test to RGH lab for it to be tested. So that was a lie. RGH is not testing.
RGH is not testing in-house, but their lab is sending out nationally to labs. So it probably was sent to RGH and then sent out.
Okay. And you guys are not considering my heart baby as high risk?
Based on the criteria we have right now, he will not be tested today.
Okay. So if he starts throwing up blood like my 4-year-old, then will you guys test him?
If he meets admission criteria, then he will probably be tested. So if you're concerned that he has dehydration, needs extra support for his work of breathing, anything like that, and you feel like you need to go to the ER and they get admitted, then they will probably be tested. But otherwise, we will not be testing.
So you guys are only testing people who are bad enough to admit?
Yeah.
That's absolutely horrible. Okay.
Would you like to come in this afternoon and have them tested for flu and RSV?
Sure, we both know it's not the flu or RSV, but sure, why not?
Well, it's up to you guys. Coming here is also exposure to other people, etc.
But you guys don't care because you guys are not testing my kids. If you only just tested one of them and they came back positive, which we both are pretty sure that they will. So if you tested just one of them and they came back positive,
I am not able to test either of your children.
well, I'm just telling you. Hypothetically, I'm just telling you so you can go relay this to your supervisors and your superiors because you guys are the danger. This process is the danger. So what I'm trying to say is, I know hundreds of people, like not a lie, that if one of my kids tested positive, they would stay inside. They're not listening because they don't know a personal person who has tested positive, because even the people who are testing positive, no one is releasing who they are. So everyone is in denial and nobody is following these rules of staying inside and self-quarantining. I have a personal concern that I have family I'm staying away from. But I don't know if those people who are in their 70s and 80s who just got done with chemo and radiation treatment, they're not going to survive this. This that I'm feeling in my lungs, They can't survive this, not after radiation treatment a few months ago. So every moment that you guys are not effectively testing people who probably have it and waiting for people to almost die to have it, who won't be able to tell people later, is dangerous, as deadly, and as reckless. And you guys are endangering people. And it might not be you directly, but your supervisors, whoever you talk to, you should tell them that. This is dangerous. This is reckless.
Ma'am, we are. We completely agree. We're the ones on the front line here. We totally understand, and we are relaying that. Unfortunately, in our country, there are limited resources right now, and we have to prioritize. And so that's just unfortunately what is happening right now. Things are changing every day, and so we're all hoping and advocating for the system to change.
I'm sorry, you guys. I really wish I could have got the rest of it, but my phone had died when I was talking to her. But for people that know me personally, who know my story, my son that we were referring to, that she were saying that had to be with his lungs caving in, showing symptoms. And if you don't have a fever, they don't even count you as COVID positive. That's not what this handbook says. That's not what this handbook that China made for us, that's not what this says. That says fever or respiratory problems. My son was having so much trouble breathing. You heard him in the recording calling me. He was hurting. Every time he coughed, he cried. He was having a hard time. And that's my heart baby. He's had surgery. He's tough. That's my tough baby. And my other child, the 4-year-old, she never gets sick. She never complains about being sick. She's just honest and sweet. And it was heartbreaking. I felt hopeless. I'm so grateful that my kids were managed to bounce back on their own. As many reports are saying about the children seem to have, a blessing over them. I'll just say that. They have mercy over them. And we should be grateful for that. My kids were it started with diarrhea. So if your kids have diarrhea, keep that in mind. They tested negative. My daughter had already tested negative for that panel, but you heard in the call that they're asking you if you want to come in. So I called her bluff, but then telling me she doesn't want them to come in so many words. This is a baby. He's 1. He will be 2 next month. A heart baby, born with a VSD, born with heterotexy, born with, his heart on the opposite side. He has a murmur. Like, what do you mean he has to be so severe to be admitted? Why would you make a baby go through that? But again, it wasn't her fault. It's the fault of our government. And it's the fault of our leadership. There is no leadership right now. So I ask that everybody reach out to your government official, to your governor, to the president, to whoever. I don't care. Whoever you think can get you something, your health commissioner, whoever. And tell them, look, I heard someone's story. There's this book. It's a whole pamphlet on what to do. Please research it and help us. Please follow this. Ask your governors, since Trump gave governors the power, ask your governors to implement something that will be a little more effective for our families, for our people. If we're not testing these numbers that are being passed out, how can they be accurate? I used to say double them. but I wouldn't even quadruple them. Those numbers have to be insane because people are being denied testing. In China, people weren't being denied. But again, leadership, reach out to your leadership, please. This is important. We have to stick together. We have to be as one. You can share this video, share it with your family, share it with your friends. The book, anybody has access to it. China made it to where everybody has access to it. The link is in my comments. You may not understand everything. You might be able to skip over some stuff like the surgical procedures and stuff like that. But the parts on disinfecting, the parts that I touched on, the parts on talking too much, the parts on disinfecting, how to even the fabric. This is stuff we don't think about. Look at that stuff in the book. How the contamination is passed. Look at that, because someone doesn't have to cough on you for you to get it. You don't even have to come in contact with the person to get it. All you have to do is say it's a plastic table and someone has it, and that table was not properly disinfected, how it's broken down to us in the book to disinfect, which I really believe that's how we got it. But, Allahu Alam, we don't know. It's all suspect. But if it's on plastic, it can last to 4 days. So you can never, ever see the person, never know who they are. And that's what makes this dangerous, because it's silent. And you can't protect yourself unless you know. And it's not one of those things that you have to have show symptoms to have. No, that's why we're quarantining. We're quarantining because you don't need to show symptoms. We're quarantining because it can take up to 14 days to show symptoms. I want to repeat that. Up to 14 days to show symptoms. And my cousin told me that he's not sure how true that is, or maybe this book was published before they were able to fix that. But my cousin in China, who gave me the book in hopes of helping me to survive and to share with others in hopes of you guys to survive. My cousin is on where? In Shanghai. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. I asked him what people were doing for treatment because I wanted to make sure I was taking the right vitamins. And that's when Don, I don't know. But if more people are sick, then it's going to have to be another 14 days and another 14 days. I mean, I told you my cousin was locked in his home from January 21st to March 17th. He said, when we spoke, March 16th, 17th. And I told him I was waiting on my results. We had it was okay. And then it just rapidly got worse. When it gets bad, it's instant. Like, it was just a simple chest pain, I have health issues already, so chest pain is not a big deal for me. I'm like, But then when the chest pain turns into you can't breathe and you're gasping for air, you can't talk, you can't move, but it's not like congestion moving. Like, there's nothing blocking your airways, but your lungs can't expand, your lungs can't, and it's pressure. It's not a good feeling. But by the time that happened to me, I was at my 14-day period, because when my daughter got sick, March 7th, I got sick the very next day right behind her with the same symptoms she had, the sore throat, the runny nose, the headache. And from March 7th, by the time we get to March 18th, I couldn't breathe. And they say before you show symptoms, it could be 3 to 5 days. So I'm taking into account, I'm adding that time in there. And I don't know. I think that's it. That's pretty much all I have to say. be safe. I don't know what I'm going to do, to be honest with you guys, because in China, like, they gave me a doctor's note to stay home. Where's that doctor's note? Stay home and quarantine for 14 days. Positive COVID-19. And then, so quarantine 14 days of COVID-19. After 14 days, if no fever or COVID symptoms for 24 hours, you are fine. So they didn't even have anything to put that into the system. That's what he wrote in here. So it's kind of hard for me to read. This is my work excuse. I got the work excuse so I could have proof. I don't know, guys. That's it. Don't take it for granted. This is serious. Wash your hands. Use the hand sanitizer in emergencies. Talk to your representatives. Share this information with people you love. Download the book. Educate yourself. Lots of vitamins. Lots of vitamins. I ran out of colloidal silver, so I'm taking those bitters right now. But you know what? It's still working. So when my colloidal silver comes in, we'll be all taking it, the whole family. I bought a whole gallon of it, 100 pp's. So, I believe that helped me. I was hearing a lot of people speaking about it. I keep it in my cabinet. I don't really use it unless I have like flu-like symptoms or strep throat. But alhamdulillah, it was there to get me through my worst part, and it's on the way in case my family goes through it as well, so that I can help them. And I just want to share my experience. I just wanted to share my knowledge. I wanted to share in hopes that this helps you and your family. As you're watching this, many of you may say, hey, I've had those symptoms. And somebody told you don't have a fever, or you don't have this, or you don't have that. And you were like, and you're lost because you don't know what to do, and you don't know why you're having these feelings. Dawn, I believe I got through my worst part. I pray I'm claiming that I got through my worst part. Okay. I'm claiming that. So I'm not sure, but I believe so. Yes. So yes, I got through my worst part. Okay. I can't laugh yet. But it talks about in here about fatigue, about lack of sleep, deep sleep deprivation. I can't lie, definitely been sleep deprived. Maybe sleeping 2 or 3 hours for the last 4 or 5 nights. But I think that's because I'm worried about you guys. Like, I'm cool. Everybody's checking on me, checking on my family. Alhamdulillah. If I need help, I'll scream it from the rooftops. But we're doing great. My family is loving and supportive, and the kids are happy, and they make light of everything and jokes, and I love my kids. Kids are so freaking awesome. Mashallah. So, this is for you guys. I did this tonight before I went to sleep because I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm not going to be able to sleep if I didn't get this off my chest and share it with you guys. I've been so worried. I've been so scared for my fellow Americans, for my fellow people across the world. I've been so concerned. I'm like, going through my own experiences with this, and everything that we're told on the news has been false of what to do. It's been false. I gave up several times. I have a small group, a small cohort of friends that I was sharing information with. They gave me the strength and the ability. They kept on sending me, well, try this. They said this. They said this. Sending me the numbers directly. That helped a lot. That helped to calm my frustrations and anxieties, to have a team of people like that to say, try again, try again, try again. And if I didn't keep on trying to seek medical attention, don't scream at these people on the phone. They're going to frustrate you. They frustrated me too. But you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. You saw how calm I was on that phone call? Do you think I was mad? Absolutely. Do you think I wanted to scream? Maybe not, because it was more disheartening and sad. But a mother, your natural instinct is to protect your young, is to fight for them. So, yes, I felt a lot of different emotions. Could you hear it? Could you hear it in the video? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think so. Because it takes patience. If you want help, you have patience. And really, that's the moral, guys. Just unity, patience, love, concern, and just educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. We should be able to take from our president. We should be able to take from our news media. We should be able to do this. But they don't want people to panic. I think it's more panicking, not knowing. Not knowing is the worst thing, because if you don't know what to do, how can you combat it? So, none of us may get a test. Well, I got mine. Well, none of you may be able to get a test. Allahu Alam. But even if you're not showing symptoms, please take the vitamins, guys. It can't do anything but help. I'll list everything I've been taking in the comments. Oh, guys, please stay away from ibuprofen. Please stay away from elderberry. Elderberry is good if you don't have it, but nobody knows who has it. And it can make the infection, it can make the infection grow. So please be careful about that, guys. But I'll list the herbs in the comments. Any other questions before I log off, guys? Any questions at all? I know typing takes a second. Any questions at all? If you need me to give you a second before I click off, just press the thumbs up button. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. For those who are coming in towards the end, I was tested COVID-19 positive. Uh-oh. Can't turn my phone on. Okay. So for those who are just tuning in, I tested COVID-19 positive, and I'm a survivor. We're surviving. My family is surviving. I'm still sick. I'm still healing. Yes. I talk about that in the video. You can catch it again. Yes. So that's what happened to my daughter. And when she caught it for the second time, that's when she was throwing up the blood. So, which tells me, and after reading this, they talk about that as well. since it's attacking your organs, this is not like the flu. Since it's attacking your organs, every time you get it, it's going to be a little harder. So that's why the disinfecting is so important. So my husband yelled at me. Oh my gosh, he yelled at me so bad today. He said, get in the bed. I said, I can't get in the bed. I have to disinfect the house because I read about the 3 days. The doctors didn't tell me that when, not the 3 days, the 3 times a day. Nobody gave me instructions to quarantine at home. We're just winging it, right? Family doesn't know what to do. We don't know how to act. So we're just winging it. And this helped a lot because, yes, this is what they were doing in the hospital, but they didn't have infected patients at home in China, where we wanted to not take this seriously because their numbers were declining and dropping and, less than 5% people dying, and people didn't think 5% was a big number at the time until it came to us. So please, again, read that book. Even if you guys never get it, at least you know what to do in case you do, or you can tell someone else, be a friend, share the information. It's in the links. I'll give you guys the herbs. I'll repost the video. And I'll stay praying for you guys. I'm praying. I'm keeping everybody in my du'as, my prayers. I love you guys, which is why I did this video. I pray this helps me get some sleep, because the worst part is knowing all of the little loopholes and not being able to say, hey, you guys, this isn't good, and protect you guys. Like, I'm protecting you guys from in my house. I'm staying inside. I'm getting myself together and wiping down these walls and disinfecting 3 times a day. I don't care if I have to gasp to do it. I am saving my family. I'm saving my family. I don't want them to go through what I went through. And I'm saving my family. So please save yours. Be safe. Much love. Thank you guys for checking in. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.